Hi, this is Scott Ware, the editor and publisher of Radiance Magazine. And today I am with Sharifah Hardiee, who appears in Radiance Magazine in the current issue with something called Sharifah's 5 Must-Haves for Your Holistic Business Success. So this is speaking to the holistic practitioners out there who we sometimes call the heartpreneurs. And Sharifah is going to talk about the 5 must-haves. And if there are any more must-haves after that, welcome, Sharifah. Thanks for coming on the show.
You are so welcome, Scott. Thank you for having me on the show. It's an honor, and it's definitely an honor to be able to be in Radiance Magazine. I mean, it's everywhere now.
Thank you. Yes, if you live in the Southern California area, it is just about everywhere, what we call high vibe locations. It's online at radiancemagazine.org for those of you that are out of the area. But Sharifah, if you're a holistic practitioner, first, before we find out what the 5 must-haves are, how do you know if you are a holistic practitioner? What does it take to be one?
I think if you're a holistic practitioner, let me just say this, more of a holistic entrepreneur, because you know everything that I do is focused on entrepreneurship.
Oh, okay, right.
You know, so, but holistic entrepreneurs are usually focused more in the metaphysical. Whatever service they offer is some type of metaphysical aspect, but they're trying to figure out how to combine the metaphysical with the physical and actually create a successful business.
Sure. So we know a bunch of these people. So if they're all about the mind, body, spirit connection, as opposed to just going into a certain kind of practitioner's office or dealing with an entrepreneur who just has one goal in mind for you, they want to take into account the whole of you, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so we know, for instance, acupuncturists and chiropractors who they want to know more about your lifestyle, more about even what you eat, what your stress levels are, what is stressing you, to help in the treatment of you, as opposed to just in and out in 10 minutes, and we're just going to fix this one specific area. It's just a different set of muscles, I guess, to be a holistic practitioner or a holistic entrepreneur.
I think it's a different type of mindset more than anything else, because as a holistic entrepreneur or holistic practitioner, we look at all of the 6 senses. You know, anywhere else, they just rely on the 5 senses. But that 6th sense is our intuition, our natural, some people consider our psychic abilities. There are many names for it, but it's just getting that information through other ways or alternative ways to your 5 senses.
Yes. And in fact, I forgot to mention that you are an intuitive business consultant. So you're not just a business consultant, you're an intuitive business consultant, which sounds like it gives you an edge over regular business consultants. Like you have more information to give a holistic entrepreneur. Would you say that's correct?
I wouldn't say that personally, because I have to be humble, but I love the fact that you said it. And I love the way that you say it. What I consider myself as an intuitive business consultant is, again, that I don't just rely on what I can see and what I can touch and what, my 5 senses. I also rely on my intuition. I rely on my knowingness. I rely on that inner small voice inside of me that says, this is the way to go. This is what they should do. Because anytime I work with a client, the first thing that I take a look at is their image. I take a look at their brand. And so intuitively, I match their image. I match their brand to what I'm picking up about them. Let me give you an example. I know you and I, Scott, have sat down on several occasions. And the first thing that I said and I had to do was take a look at, in this business, it's a magazine. You're helping the world. You're saving, helping entrepreneurs. You're helping people who are holistic business owners, but it's still a business. So who are you within this business? And so we set a role for you within the business and for you to operate according to that business. But intuitively, I had to pick up, okay, who is Scott Ware? Who is he as a person? So when he uses that persona within Radiance Magazine, is going to help to benefit the magazine itself.
Exactly. I did listener services at different phases of my time with Radiance, and but even before that, at the beginning of that time, there was an interesting time that we had together. That one day, Remember that one day?
Yes, I do. I'll never forget that day. I mean, like I've said on many times, you know, you have pushed me professionally and personally on so many different occasions. So when we went out that day, and it actually started as an act of service where we were working together and you had to go deliver these magazines and you're like, you want to come along? And I'm like, sure, I love to see the route. And so we hand delivered Radiance magazines to stores all day. And so it was a wonderful experience. It was a learning experience. And you pushed me personally to use more of my intuition to help people.
Yes, early on, I think it's going on 2 years now, there was a section of territory near where I live that I told my delivery guy that I would deliver to from Whittier to Yorba Linda. And we just happened to be talking and I said, "Why do you want to come along?" And you said, "Sure." And it was really neat because these were metaphysical bookstores, healing centers, and yoga studios. And it's really cool because it helped me establish more of the territory because, as you know, we started when I took over Radiance 2 years ago, it was at 70 locations. Now it's at over 600.
Oh, and wow. Oh, congratulations. You say that like that is a huge accomplishment.
Thank you. Yes. And it's, you came along and we would be in the store and because I know you don't do personal readings anymore unless maybe you're friends, but you were giving personal intuitive readings to people. And some people broke down in tears because you affected them so much in a positive way. They were so overcome. We left I remember posting that day, we left a trail of happy tears because of the people you affected. Just boom, boom. Each place there was somebody that got affected. So I have that experience with you, and it was an amazing day, and it just came about intuitively, right? We just went with the flow, and it really paid off for them, including that lady who was pregnant, who got some very important information from you about the pregnancy. That was amazing.
Yes, the whole day was just simply amazing. And I wouldn't have been able to relay that information if not for the little nudges from Scott saying, "Do you see anything? Do you feel anything?" And each and every time there was a message that someone there at that location needed to hear. So it was, I would say, you get so much, let me just say this, you get so much more with Radiance magazine than just an article or just reading through the magazine. I mean, again, it goes back to who you are as a person, so ever since I met you, my life has changed. Someone asked me yesterday, they inboxed me and they asked me how I met certain people in the tribe. How do you meet Lucinda? How did you meet Krista? How did you meet all these different people? And I said, you know what? It started about 2 years ago with Scott Ware. I did my article in Radiance magazine and he was like, you know what? You have to meet all these different people. And I went out, I took your word, and I joined Lunch Bunch. I'm still at Lunch Bunch. See you at Lunch Bunch. Hopefully tomorrow. I don't know if you're going to be there or not, but at least it's in Long Beach. So Lunch Bunch and all the different people, it all started with Radiance magazine.
Yeah, it's interesting. For people who don't know, there is a very vibrant holistic community in Southern California. There's a lot of networking groups that get together a couple times a month at lunch, where there's a lot of collaboration and basically like a big love fest that we enjoy going to. There's also something called the Holistic Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
That has different chapters in different cities: Long Beach, Santa Monica, Manhattan Beach, Irvine, and on, Redlands. So there's more people coming in. That's how we know, I think, that things are changing, that things are changing in this world, that we're not just bottom line oriented, that more people are opening up their hearts, leading with their hearts, and coming out to experience themselves as healers because they got healed and they want to share that. And so we have a lot of those people. And Radiance is out there, just like on social media and everything, to help get the word out. So people who are suffering from things that they are not getting cured, to use that word, by allopathic medicine, medical doctors, because it keeps coming back, keeps recurring, letting them know that there's healers out there and that can help them on a spiritual level, on an emotional level. Mm-hmm. And so it can go deeper.
Yes.
And then, but of course, you're talking about holistic entrepreneurs in general, and we know people who are in the finance industry who are holistic. We know people, we know real estate agents who are holistic. So you help people who are holistic entrepreneurs of any kind, right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, my focus is, I have two focuses. Let me just explain it like this. My focus is on helping entrepreneurs, helping them be successful, whatever their product is. Real estate, like you mentioned, any type of product or service. Excuse me. But what I found in the difference between holistic and people, let's just say a little bit more corporate, is that the people who are more corporate in business, they tend to understand that they are in business to make a profit. Whereas when I work with holistic entrepreneurs, they have Scott, I can't even tell you, they have the biggest hearts. They want to help everyone. They want to save the world. They just want to give and give and give and give. I think, like you said, like about Lunch Bunch, it's just a big love fest. It's just people who love to give and give of themselves, give of their time, give of their energy, give of their services. Yes. However, what I do and what I try to help them understand is that you can give, but you also have to understand what your revenue source is. Because if you want to just give, that's fine, but then go be a nonprofit. And as a nonprofit, people are able to give you money in order for you to successfully operate your nonprofit. But if you're a business, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, it's an interesting thing when you become this kind of holistic practitioner or holistic entrepreneur, and you're not used to it. There's different skills coming in. There's just a different way of doing it. A lot of people undersell, or they go out there and think, oh, maybe I shouldn't be charging this much money, or I should be doing it for free because I'm a Reiki healer now, and it's coming through me, and because love is a main ingredient in this kind of healing, it's thought sometimes, well, I should do it for free. But the fact is, the energy exchange of money is very valid and very necessary for it to be a proper exchange, right?
I would agree with you, Scott. Absolutely. But let me just add this. If this person, and we use the example Reiki healer, if the Reiki healer just wants to give Reiki sessions without being in business as a Reiki healer, then that's one thing. But if you are a business has to have a price. I mean, if you go to any store, would you just imagine going to, let's just walk on into Nordstrom's, and I see that shirt that I want. And because I need clothing to survive, so this shirt isn't, so I go in there and I say, you know what? I just love for you to give it to me because you know that I need this shirt to be worn. What would you say the likely response would be from Nordstrom's?
They wouldn't let you out of the store.
Right. Okay. They might keep you in the store for a while until some people come and get you. But if we are in business as a Reiki healer, we have to be able to set a value because that's a service that we are offering. Yes. If it's not, because I always try to, I'm big with semantics and I'm big with verbiage. Let's call it what it is. So if you want to just give Reiki healings, okay, then provide them, volunteer. Go volunteer somewhere. Go to an ashram. Go, somewhere where you can just provide these services.
Exactly.
This is your business. Your business has to have a set price. Now, you can modify that price at any time. It could go up, it could go down, but it's the value that you see of that price. However, let me just say this. For someone who I can make the argument, Radiance is free. It doesn't have a set price. However, you're very clear on your revenue sources and your business model in giving away your magazine for free. So my thing is just to take a look carefully, however you set it up. If you honestly feel there's no way you can charge for Reiki services or any type of service, where does your money come from? That's the question.
Exactly. And before I want to get to your 5 must-haves for a holistic entrepreneur, but I want to point out one of the other advertisers in this issue is a great grocery store called Lazy Acres.
Okay.
And they're one of those There's 3 or 4 of them around, but this is the one in Long Beach that's advertising, and it's a lot of organic food. It's about natural foods, real people dedicated to providing unmatched personal service, and they do have a lot of employees on hand ready to talk about the essential oils and the vitamins and supplements. But you know, this is the kind of store where you're going to walk in and there's going to be those little snacks and those foods that were made with great care, right? You know, they weren't made on an assembly line by some big brand. They were made by a mom and pop organization, and maybe they only make this 1 product or 2 products, and you know it was made with great care, so it's going to be priced a little higher because it's organic, there's no additives, there's no preservatives, and they made it with such love. But are they going to give it away for free?
No. But
right.
If they gave it away for free, this is, you know, I love asking questions. I always say, if you ask the right question, you'll get the right answer, right? And so my question would be, if it's so wonderful, because I'm pretty sure it is, and I don't know everything you said about that grocery store, but I was sold at Long Beach. Organic in Long Beach, I'm there. I'll have to go in the magazine and look for the ad and find the address, but I'll be shopping there. But my question is this: if they gave everything they had away for free, who would that benefit? How would they pay their employees? How would they survive? How would they grow? How would they be able to create more opportunities for other people to get organic food? So all of those things, it costs to do all these different things. So what I love to do is support businesses. I'm always, even one of the things that you mentioned is the Long Beach Holistic Chamber of Commerce. We have an event coming up on July 9th. I already purchased my ticket. You know why? Because I want to support it. I want to make sure that I show up and I support what we're doing. What we're doing here, Southern California, America, however you want to call it, but right here in Long Beach. I believe in supporting local businesses.
I agree. I totally agree. And you were talking about what good would it do if it was given away for free? The employees wouldn't be able to be paid. But also there's something in the customer and the client paying something of value, giving something they value in exchange for the thing of value. That needs to be a part of the equation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
I think people value things that they pay for, especially, I mean, the things that we pay more for, I believe we value a little bit, you know, more. Like even when I'm talking to my kids, I'm like, do you know how much I pay for that? You know, be careful with that. So we value those things.
Or when you give your kids advice, you say, do you realize how much people pay me for this advice?
Exactly. That's what I tell them all the time. And then I send them a bill.
There you go. You invoice them. Okay. So we have Sharifah's 5 must-haves for your holistic business success.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 1 is have a professionally hosted website. It's your address, not Wix or Weebly's. So that's very important, right?
Yes.
So that speaks for itself. Have a professional email, no Gmail, free addresses, sends the wrong message to clients. Have a strong, active presence on social media, post and interact often. Number 4 is have professional business cards printed. Be proud of your business and give out 10 cards a day. And then number 5 is have 5 to 10 people give feedback on those 1 through 4 and learn how others see your business. That's how your customers see you. Now that's the scariest one right there, right? And that's what a lot of people don't like to do. They just like to go, I know what I'm doing here. Let me just do this. And then a couple months later, they don't have as much business as they'd like, and they wonder why. And we're kind of afraid to ask other people, right? Right.
So Scott, I had to share this. I screamed for joy the other day because my brother is a computer programmer in Australia. And I was telling him because it just so happened that 2 companies approached me about reselling their services. So I was speaking to my brother about which, you know, should I be a reseller? Should I partner with these companies? So my brother took a look at both of their websites and he was like, do you see this? Do you see that? That doesn't work. That's ancient. That's old. And he literally like picked those websites apart. And because he works for Oracle, so he's a web developer. This is what he does. So he knows the most up-to-date of everything. So I said to him, you know, I'm kind of scared to ask, but can you take a look at AskSharifah.com? He was like, sure. So we go there and he literally picks it apart and he gave me so many tips and tricks and different things that I can do to tweak even my website to make it more attractive to my customer. And funny because since we made those changes, I have had more leads, more people contact me through live chat, more free sessions confirmed, free consultations confirmed. I'm like, wow, those little tweaks really made a difference. I really changed the layout based on the information that he gave me. But what I found with, and I built my first website in 1994. So I've worked with a lot of different websites. I was one of the people who built the original cheaptickets.com website. So I know a lot about websites. But when we are looking at our website, it's kind of like looking at our baby. It's our child. We love it. It's perfect. It's so, ideal. And so one of the ways I became a business consultant and started consulting with business owners is because I would, I offer marketing and PR services. But when I go to their website, I say, okay, well, before we do any marketing, before we do any branding, these are the changes that we have to make to your website. And we make the changes. And then they say, wow, it's such a difference, But the thing that gets me is they say, well, everybody went to my website and they all said it was nice. It was great. And I'm like, yeah, but I've been doing this for 25 years. So I know how things should be online because it's the same way. It's location, prime real estate. So I can change things in order to allow business owners to actually monetize or make more money on their websites. But if I hadn't asked his opinion, then I would not have known.
Sure. Okay. So you put yourself out there. You were vulnerable. You did that.
Yeah.
Now I see it in your on your page here in Radiance. Visit AskSharifah.com. It says for your free consultation, including one free intuitive insight.
Yeah.
Now that is a really cool offer. I mean, someone just calls you, so they'll get a free consultation, and I'd like you to talk about what they can expect in that. And what's a really cool intuitive insight that you've given that just blew somebody away?
To write a book. I think that was my most recent one where I had a consultation and she wanted to be in business. She didn't know what service she wanted to offer in anything, but based on our consultation, what we pulled out is that she really wants to tell her story and she really wants to be an author. And for her, it was an idea that was completely out of the blue, something that she wouldn't have thought of. So what I do is take a look at where you are and maybe there's some directions, because people always, it surprises me still in 2019 that people think it costs so much money to be online. And so they think when I get $50,000 or $10,000 or whatever it is. So when I let them know it costs, you can get a website for $5 a month and be in business or to be online. And so then they can come up with all these different ideas on what they really want to do because they think it's so difficult. And I'm like, no, for whatever your heart desires, I guarantee you, there's a business that can be created from it.
Well, I still think, and knowing you as I know you, I know it is so worth it for people to call you, because a free consultation, okay, you can't beat that. And you're going to give them one free intuitive insight, which is an intuitive reading, a psychic reading, if you will, but relating to business coaching. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm sure when people see this, your phone's going to ring, because why wouldn't you call for that?
That's what I say. Why wouldn't you call for that? Whatever comes up, whatever spirit gives me, that's what's going to come through.
And we'll warn them right now. Like I said, you made people cry before, so that could happen here too. But that's, maybe that's a breakthrough waiting to happen. Maybe that just needs to happen with some people.
I love it. I love it. That's what I'm here for.
So you also, they can order a copy of Signs You Might Be an Entrepreneur from author Sharifah Hardiee. You wrote a book. Yes,
I did. 25 years, you know what I mean? That's the information, the knowledge. It's a brief book, but it just sums up a lot of the information that I've learned as a business consultant over the years, and raising capital, because at the last company, I raised about $7 million. So a lot of the information will help you to create a successful company.
So it's interesting because it's called Signs You Might Be an Entrepreneur. And I think that's meant to sort of open so if people just have an inkling, they might like to not work for their current boss and might like to go out on their own, but they're afraid. Yeah. But maybe there's signs that deep down inside, they're meant to work for themselves. They're meant, and that they have the ability. They just don't know quite how to do it. This can help them take a couple steps, right?
Right. The signs come from people tend to miss up or misconstrue these two ideas. Not wanting to work at all and being an entrepreneur, So
Right.
what are the signs of an actual entrepreneur as opposed to someone who just doesn't want to go work a 9 to 5 or doesn't want to work at all or doesn't, has issues with authority? Those things do not automatically in themselves make you an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is a problem solver. More than anything else, they're a problem solver. Even if being a holistic entrepreneur, that's what we're doing. We're trying to solve people's problems. They're hurt. They're in pain. They're going through something. How do we solve this problem? And so we pull a lot of different resources from above and below to be able to pull the knowledge they need to be able to heal. So that's what an entrepreneur does. The entrepreneur, because Scott, like you said, I know you personally, you do not work 9 to 5 hours. You do not work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. An entrepreneur works so much harder. Sometimes I can say, for instance, I have a close friend who's a police officer and he's enamored with my entrepreneur life. But I'm like, no, I wish I could be off at a certain time. He doesn't get calls at home because, they need him to come and solve this problem. No, when he's off, he's off. The entrepreneur is always going. They're always thinking. They're always creating.
But we do it because we love it. I don't consider it work. Of course, there's times when you wish your phone didn't ring, but for the most part, we chose this life because we didn't want to just work for someone else doing something we didn't love or didn't fully understand, didn't want to do. I've heard you joke around a little bit about that sort of thing, but deep down you're doing this and you're doing it on your own because you want to work for yourself. You want to do what you want to do, and you have
no idea what you mean by you heard me joke around with that. No, because this go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish. But I just have to say this because I agree with you about the whole chose thing because I believe 100%, and then I'm gonna go the complete opposite, but 100% that everything in our life is a choice. We make a choice, but with that said, I believe people like myself, I was laid off about 8 times. So I would have chose to be an employee, but that's not what I was meant to do. I'm here to help people. And I would have stayed in my little comfort zone with my light hid under a bushel if I hadn't continued to get laid off until the point where I said, you know what? This is not what I'm supposed to do. I'm not meant to be an employee. And so I moved into being an entrepreneur.
And it's some people's opinion that you actually chose a life where you would feel comfortable as an employee in the bosom of that big corporation and then be laid off so that you would be forced to let your gifts come out and help humankind.
Absolutely. I agree. That's exactly what I was saying.
So you also have a talk show, or would you call it Ask Sharifah, a talk show?
It's a show in which we talk, but I call it a videocast. And so I love my videocast. I love the opportunity to speak with business owners and entrepreneurs, especially holistic entrepreneurs, because they teach me the most amazing things. Here we kind of, and outside of being holistic, I guess mainstream is what we'll call it. It's like there are certain set services, but within the holistic community, it's like people are talking about dragons and speaking to all kind of people, so it's so interesting how they've been able to create not only a business out of it, but a lot of people have thriving business. I'm like, wow, she's a channel. She has her client list that's booked months in advance, and it's amazing. And so on my videocast, I have an opportunity, just like yourself, to just sit down and speak to people and ask them all about their business. And they tell me the most amazing stories. Because I usually the first question I ask is like, how did you get here? How did you get started? How did you know the voice that you were speaking to was a dragon? So I just love this conversation.
It's funny how dragons have really come out now, that apparently we all have dragons. We all have some kind of dragon guides, and
that's what I was told.
Just like our spirit guides, just like our angels, and these dragons actually apparently do different things. Whereas the angels will nudge us and but the dragons will carry out. Like if something needs to be taken care of, they actually do the taking care of. They and may have been doing it all along for us. We didn't know it. It's very interesting. I know for some people that doesn't even compute. But
it's interesting to have the opportunity to sit down and speak to people, and that's why I do them live, because people ask questions and make comments on what their thoughts on the guests that we have on today.
I agree. So the bottom line is you got to follow your passion. I know you've heard that, and it sounds like a cliche, but whatever it is you like to do, lean into that, fall into that, go with that, and keep refining it and getting help and calling in help, calling in your guides, calling in whoever to make that happen, so that whatever it is that you offer, you've got it shine, like you've got that diamond cut so clearly that the people who need your services can finally now see it and attract to you and start paying you for that service, whatever it is. That's really the message here, right?
Yes, but also real quick, Scott, no one, and I don't like to, say absolutes, but I don't believe anyone is going to see you that way until you see yourself that way. You have to be able to see the value in the gift that you were given, because it was really a gift. It was honestly a gift. So once you see the value of that, if you can set a rate for your services and just be proud and say, this is my rate, without apologizing, without feeling that you need to discount it or take it back or offer a 2-for-1 or put it on sale, but just be happy about the gift that you're giving and that you are here to help others heal.
Beautifully said. If people can't see why they shouldn't get a free consultation with you, I don't know what else you can say.
Ask Sharifah.com. I'll say that.
Okay. So they should go there to start the process of booking that free consultation with you, and to get one free intuitive insight that is going to be right on. I can vouch for that you are an excellent intuitive. So it'll be well worth it for them to check you out.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on the show. And thank you all for listening, and keep spreading the love.